Hi, Walt here from Foundations in Manual Therapy Seminars. You know, the concept of palpation and the clinician's palpation skill and the art of it is something that gets a lot of publicity, if you will, but there's a lot of conflicting views or sort of a lot of different views that sort of create a tapestry of concepts of what it is we're palpating. I remember back in my early myofascial release days, I was taught to look for something that was hard, hot, or ropey, and I think it was a really decent starting place, a place to begin for the novice clinician. Palpation was such an integral part of myofascial release and so many other sorts of manual therapies and massage therapies. But one of the problems with palpation and palpation education is it often led you down a very narrow path of what it is that you were palpating. In myofascial release training, hard, hot, or ropey was the fascial restriction, or the thought that what was wrong with the person, something that I had to fix, if you will, or heal or release. But I think if you take enough trainings, you're going to hear that story rewritten from different perspectives. The narrative of massage and a muscle knot, that we're palpating for the muscle knot. Trigger point therapy, you're palpating for that unique trigger point within the body. Laryngeal manipulation, you're palpating for the muscle tension, and you're feeling the muscle tension that you then are tasked with changing, with reducing locally. Now, when I teach this work now, I teach that we're not really feeling for those things, because do they really exist as they've been taught to us, as that we believe they are, especially when you look at enough clinicians. And in essence, we're palpating the same thing in the same area, but we're calling it different things. We're defining it differently. And then we're coming up with an intervention that is unique and said to be taking care of that problem, when in reality, it's probably the same problem. I still teach palpation, but I teach palpation not from the perspective of what it is that we found in the body, in the tissues, as a pathology. I teach palpation as a means to connect the person and their experience and their awareness and their priors, their past, and towards their present, that I'm trying to find something that is relatable to them, not just to me. Something that, yeah, I can feel, but something that they acknowledge as, yeah, whatever it is that you just found, Walt, or that ever you're feeling, that's familiar to me, and your pressure ideally feels useful. It feels like it might be impactful. It might be something that can change this negative experience of breathing, of swallowing, of pain, whatever that is that we're working with. Palpation is an art, and it's something that takes a while to develop. And if it's helpful for you to think of a tissue, a problem, something within them, a pathology that you're palpating for, I guess it's useful. Just don't get too caught up into that thought that there's a unique problem in the patient that only you can feel and find and fix because you've taken a specific line of training. I think that really leads us down false dead ends all the time. Think of palpation as simply a means of communication, touch-based communication, via receptors, via the skin, via awareness, via interoception, via so many different avenues, that our palpation, our touch, is not about fixing something here. It's about creating a link, creating a connection, creating an awareness so we can partner to help with the problem and help remediate that. I hope that's helpful as you start palpating, or maybe as you continue to palpate as a part of your intervention.